Hello, Gabna. This is Rakai Steve, new from the Ville, and we're here to talk about Doctor Who Season 10, Episode 1, The Pilot. But first, let me tell you a little story. After high school and after my first year of college, I had a roommate who shall remain nameless. But he was a bit of a player. And he messed around and made the mistake one night of having someone else, another woman who was not his girlfriend, come by the house. And while he's in his room putting in that work, his girlfriend comes by the house. Now the thing is, the kind of relationship he had with his girlfriend, I don't know, she was just one of them type, she didn't knock on the door, she just walked in like she owned the place. And when I saw her on the steps about to hit the door of his room, well, for one, I didn't know that the other girl was still there. For two, I didn't know that she just popped by unannounced because she was over so much. Which was one of those things too, it made it, when he came in with the other girl who wasn't his girlfriend, I was like, what are you doing, dog? Like, did you and old girl break up or something? And he didn't really explain, so I didn't ask no more questions. All right, cool, you love it, I like it. She went up to his room. His girlfriend went up to his room, opened the door, closed the door, came back down the steps and went out the door without saying anything to me. I was just like, okay. The next day, I came home. I don't know if I was at work or at school. And when I came in the house, she was already there. And she was in the kitchen like getting herself something to drink. And she had that look on her like, you know, she was hot and sweaty. She was putting in that work. And I was like, oh, okay, well apparently y'all made up. Y'all good then or whatever, you know? So I spoke to her or whatever. And she just like, you know, hey. And I was like, okay, well, hey, you know? And then I'm sitting in the living room, sitting on the couch, and she goes back up to his room, you know, and I hear that work being put in. I was like, boy, he's going to town, and they're like, they are having a great time. I should probably just leave because that's just too much of a good time. And, you know. And as I start to gather my things to get ready to go, my roommate walks in the door. What? I was like, did you go out to the car or something? You forget something? He's like, what are you talking about? He said, I just got here. You know what I'm saying? I just got out of class, got off work or whatever. I was like, did you know your girl is here? He said, my girl? I said, yes, your girlfriend. Did you know that she was here? He said, yeah, she told me to be here to meet her at this time when I got off work. You know what I'm saying? Come straight home. She had a surprise for me. I was like, yeah, I would say so. And he's like, why? And I was like, you don't hear that? And he's like, what? I was like, okay, so dude, when I got home from work, she was already here. He's like, yeah, you know, I told her she can come in or get the spare key and come in. I was like, okay. I said, but she's in your room already. He's like, yeah. It sounded like I thought you were in your room with her. He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, dude, I don't know if you should go. So now he hears what I was talking about, and he's like, what the hell? And he kind of drops his stuff and takes off, runs, goes up the steps, opens up his door, and sees, I'm assuming, I mean, I only saw a little bit, some things that no man should ever have to see. He saw another man destroying his woman, taking her all the way to Pound Town, and they caught every bus in town. Like, they got on every stop. Bro. I mean, that dude who was in the room with her was filling her out like an application. Do you hear me? Whew. Boy. So it came dangerously close to being a 187 up in there. Oh, dude, my roommate lost it. And old girl was smug and she didn't give a shit. And she's like, oh, you didn't know I was here yesterday when you was in here with your little, you know, your little hoochie, whatever she said. And he's like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I wasn't in here, whatever. She's like, I was here. I saw you. I caught you. And then he turned around to me and like, was I? Hey, ooh, look at the, ooh, shit, I got things. I got to be anywhere but here. Gotta go. So the other dude's putting his clothes back on, you know, he apologized. He wasn't aware of the situation, that this wasn't her house, none of that, or whatever. They got into it, you know, they got to fighting. All of them was this fighting, and she was fighting both of them, because then she got mad because her boyfriend was fighting the new dude that was filling her out. But then when the new dude that was filling her out hit her boyfriend, she got mad at him for, how dare you hit my boyfriend? I was like, well, he was just hitting you a minute ago. Anyway, I say all that to say my roommate never bounced back from that. Like, catching her in the act, seeing it in person, seeing what happened, what transpired, he couldn't. And he ended up doing some lightweight stalking of her, because all he could talk about, all he could remember was what they had before them last 2 nights. And he refused to see how any of that was his fault. Anyway, I've talked a long time, so let's get into it. Hello, Governor. This is Rick Cassidy, new from the Ville, and we're here to talk about Doctor Who Season 10, Episode 1, The Pilot. But if you rock with me for any amount of time, then you know I'm not going to do a long recap anymore. It's going to be short. I talked for a long time during the little introduction story, so this is going to be short. We're going to get into the quote. We're going to get into the personal statements, and then we out of here. As we learned in the last episode, the Doctor went and got Nardole out of Hydroflax as a companion. So the Doctor is a university professor. The Doctor is a university professor, and Nardole is his assistant, and apparently he's been living this way for decades. He sees a student sitting in his class. She comes to every one of his lectures, but miraculously, she's not enrolled as a student. She works in the school cafeteria. The Doctor calls her to his office, and he offers to be her tutor. She says she's not even enrolled in school. He's like, I'll get you in school. And she's like, why? He said, because I can sense that sense of curiosity on you. You're at every one of my lectures, and you don't even go to school here. So you obviously want to know more. I want to teach you more. Her name is Bill, and Bill sees another student in her class named Heather, who she's really smitten with. Bill ends up getting the Doctor a Christmas present. He said he didn't get anything for her, But she tells a story about her mother and being a foster child. And when she gets home that day, her foster mother says, "Hey, I found this old box of photographs in the back of the closet. I didn't even know that they were there." And Bill, who had just told the doctor she didn't have any pictures or anything like that of her mom, well, somehow now she's got a whole box full of pictures of her mom. And she even catches in one of them, it looks like the doctor in the mirror taking a picture. Heather invites Bill to go look at a puddle. When she looks at the puddle, she says, "Do you see it? Do you see what's off?" Bill couldn't see it all the way, but she saw that something was off. Her face didn't look straight. You hear a voice from inside the puddle to say, "Start looking for the pilot now." We find out that what the puddle is actually an alien. It's a liquid something, and it ends up taking Heather. What Heather saw when she looked in the puddle was that her face was symmetrical. And the thing about Heather's face, she had one of her eyes, she had a birth defect that looked like a star in her eye. But when you looked in the puddle, both of her eyes were regular. That's how the doctor who came by, Bill showed him the puddle. That's how he knew it was something was off. Bill saw something was off, but she couldn't tell what it was. Now the thing is, Heather and Bill were falling for each other. And they had this yearning for each other. And Heather wanted to leave. She just wanted to get away. Bill was into Heather, but she didn't really know her that well. Well, when Heather ended up getting taken, she was replaced. I guess she died and was replaced by the alien who looked just like Heather. But the thing is, they were in the form of water, so they could pop up anywhere. And everywhere there was water, the alien could pop up. And it seemed like it was going after the doctor and Bill, but it was going after Bill. And what they soon realized is that it was going after Bill because it seemed at first like it was stalking Bill. But what Bill realized is that it was going after her because it yearned for her. It fell in love with her and wanted to leave with her. And since the aliens had pulled Heather in as the alien going to be the pilot to pilot their ship because she wanted to leave, which we saw something like this in an earlier episode in the Matt Smith era, 11th era, The Lodger with James Corden. Heather did want to leave without Bill. And the alien even told Bill, "Listen, I take you anywhere. I take you to stars." So all the same stuff that the doctor really offers, but this alien offered her to her outright. "Travel with me." Bill was like, "Nah. I mean, I like you, and that's all cool, but I just met you." So the alien lets go of Bill and decides to leave on her own. And the doctor ends up offering Bill to be her tutor forever and for her to go on a series of adventures with him, in the TARDIS. The doctor and Bill go back to the doctor's office and he tries to wipe her memories, kind of what he wanted to do to Clara, what he did to Donna. And Bill refuses. She's like, no, she refuses. Kind of the same way Clara did. But when she talks about protecting her identity and even protecting his identity, for whatever reason, the doctor relents. And as Bill's leaving his office, the doctor is outside with the TARDIS. And he gives her the offer to travel with him. You know that I love my quotes, and I only have one today. This quote is from Jodi Picoult, and they say, "Envy, after all, comes from wanting something that isn't yours, but grief comes from losing something you already had." I'm going to call this particular media therapy deep dive yearning. I know that story at the beginning was long. I talked about my partner And one of the reasons was because he really lost it. He went off the deep end. He started stalking his now ex-girlfriend for a while because he could not pull himself together. And as much as I told him he was going to end up his ass in jail, you know, I kept telling him, you better not do anything to that girl, because while I don't agree with her methods and what she did was diabolical, you brought that shit on yourself, homeboy. Like, I don't know how you didn't think it was going to end the way that it ended. And it could have been much worse. But I don't know how long he'd been cheating on her or whatever. That was his first time. He got caught the first time. I don't know. Doesn't matter. What matters is that he took it from a place where they had a place of love together, and because he made it dirty, he made it ugly, it now had moved into borderline psychotic. You know, the thing about yearning is a strong desire or longing for something absent or unthinkable. And it can become dangerous when it leads to harmful behaviors or unhealthy attachments. And that's what he had. He had harmful behaviors and unhealthy attachments. He would pop up every place that she was. He'd be sitting outside of her work. Like, he did things where he eventually got himself kicked out of school. He couldn't function. He was starting to lose weight. He looked bad because he wasn't eating. I don't know if he was showering. I don't know. But like, he hit a wave of depression that is at an all-time high. The kind where I wanted to still look out for her, because it's not really her fault what is going on with him. I don't know who I should be more concerned about her and him doing something real stupid, or about him and him getting the help that he needs, because he was out there. You know, the thing is, you have to check on your strong friends, because it can be just that swift. The pendulum can swing in a day. He went from one day thinking he was on top of the world and doing something stupid, to the next day he was at the bottom, the lowest level of hell, and he didn't know how to bring himself out of it. Unhealthy longing can also manifest in other areas, such as addiction or risky behaviors. And the thing is, it can affect you in a way, affect your psyche, where you can get what's called a borderline personality disorder. And that can speak to a lot of things, but a borderline personality disorder can manifest itself as an intense, obsessive romantic attachment with abandonment fears, and leading to unstable relationships and emotional dysregulation. Now, if you ask me, Lil Buddy had all three of those going on. He was definitely had abandonment fears, even though she'd already broke up with him. So that was, you know, and who knows what else was in his past to make him that way. You know, he tried to, you know, tell me that he was over her and it wasn't no big deal. And the best way to get over her was to get under another girl. But even if he was with some other girl, you know, I know my hearing is pretty good, or it was pretty good. And I was like, you know, well, why are you in your room crying? I wasn't crying. Okay. And, you know, he would go from 0 to 100 real quick. He had these crazy mood swings. He was hurting. And, you know, that's what they say, hurt people hurt people. And he was a danger not only to her, but to himself. You know, and I had to sit him down. I was like, listen, the shit you doing, you out here a thin line between love and hate, my dude. And, you know, you're gonna make me drop down on you. Like, you need to go see some people, because, you know, Lord forbid you do something and then I'm on the hook because I knew that you was out here acting crazy and I ain't tell nobody. I said, but for real, you need some help. And he resisted, and I was like, all I'm saying is, you know, if you do something to that girl, because it's not, Can't do nothing. I said, you didn't fight that. You didn't fight that dude like that was in there putting that work in. I said, go find him, fight his ass. Shut up. That's what I thought. In this particular episode, Heather had her life stolen from her. And even though she became an oil, a viscous material, because she wasn't water, the doctor found out that material was actually oil, that it leaked off of the spaceship or whatever they were in. Even though she looked like a zombified version of herself, like she walked straight out of the ring, she still, that feeling that she had in her before she died for Bill and this connection that they had, she couldn't let it go, because that was the last connection, the last yearning that she had, the last emotion she had before she died. And it was strong, because usually love, lust, all that is a very strong emotion. And that's why people that get hurt in love, that emotion can flip to the other side and become the other super strong emotion, which is hate and anger. And that's my homeboy. That's a little bit what he had going on. He was hurt. He was angry. This was a good episode, a good introduction to Bill. We see that the doctor and Nardole are guarding some kind of vault in the basement. I don't know what that's about. But it's a good episode, good introduction to Bill. I kind of like Bill. She's curious, but I don't know yet, you know. She ain't Clara. She for damn sure ain't Martha, you know, so we'll see how this goes. I just want to make sure that if you are one of the type of people who loves hard, I understand, you know, the saying is usually you love hard, you play hard. But if you love hard, that also means that you can hate hard. You should always find ways to protect your peace and give grace to people. If you out here doing dirt, that shit gonna come back on you. Karma's 100% with this thing, and it comes back. Might not be when you thought, but it'll be back. If you're having a problem with someone stalking you, an unhealthy relationship, seek help. I don't know what that looks like for you. Tell a parent, tell the authorities, document, write everything down. And this day and age, if you can have some video and photos, that's even better. But you need to, again, protect your peace. This is Rakai Steed, new from the Ville. Make sure that you share this video as much as possible. Give me a like and leave me some comments about what you think about the yearning and borderline personality disorder. You know, my friend turned into a full-blown stalker. I never thought I'd see the day. Mr. Player himself. And now he's so far gone, he's stalking, and he looks like a shell of himself. Sometimes love can do it to you. But you know, in the famous words of Tony Braxton, love should have brought your ass home last night. If for some reason you haven't subscribed, hit the button, subscribe, and watch some more of the videos. There might be something that resonates with you. Remember, everything I do, I try to use this, but it's even more important that you always use this.